Are we live? Is it working? Can somebody put something in the comments to let me know that we're up? Had a little technical difficulties. Zoe, Flora, anybody? It says that I'm on. I got 4 thumbs up, 10 people here. Perfect. We're working. Okay, so right as I was about to go live, I'll keep looking at the camera so I'm not looking at the screen. Right as I was about to go live, the batteries in my keyboard died. Like I was about to click to like press the buttons and stuff, and then I got the little warning. So sorry, we're a couple minutes late. It's not too bad. Um, Krisha's here. Hi, Zoe. I think I'll sort of just chat away for a couple minutes in case we have other people coming in. I'm getting messages too from Flora telling me that it's working now. We're live. So welcome to our first YouTube live stream, which is really exciting because this is something that I've wanted to do for a while. And um, I figured, I'm doing live streams anyway, and we have a little bit more control over the videos on YouTube than we would on Facebook. So we're moving all of our live streams to Facebook, and then I'm also going to be putting up videos and content every Sunday for you. So they should be fun stuff about, how to be more productive and stay motivated. And so they're not just applicable to the postgrads, but it is geared toward the postgrads. So hope that it's helpful for you all. So be sure to subscribe to this channel. Give it a thumbs up for me because we'll be picking 5 current postgrads who have subscribed and given it a thumbs up. And we're going to get you some free Deliveroo because you're isolated and you still need to eat. So that's what we're going to do for you. And let's see, our numbers are going up as far as people logging in. So you might as well just go ahead and start. Let me get up my little outline here. All this stuff happened right before we came, so I wasn't as prepared as I wanted to be. Let's see, there we go. Well, first of all, let me just say, for the postgrads who are watching, this term has been wild. This whole academic year has been wild. And I know that a lot of people have been really frustrated about the strikes and now this whole isolation thing. You guys haven't gotten as many contact hours as you want. And I think everybody gets that. We all understand, like, it's been wild. So I'm hoping that when you're isolated at home, these videos will give you a way to still engage with the community and keep up to date on what's going on. So just a couple of housekeeping things first. I will, like I said, I'll be uploading either a live stream or like a nice edited video to this channel every Sunday at 6 o'clock. Oh, Krisha has ideas. Thank you. Well, yeah, we'll discuss desk organization stuff. Yeah, so every Sunday we'll get some live videos or edited videos going for you. And then every weekday morning for the rest of this term, since it's a weird term and we're all isolated and there's like weird news coming out and stuff, I'm going to be doing just a quick like 10-minute live stream on this channel every weekday morning at 9 a.m. for the rest of this term. So that's like 10 days or so of those. So be sure that you tune into those. We might do some more incentives as far as like free delivery and stuff like that. But those are just going to be sort of more fun, like have a coffee with me in the morning. Let's see, check in with you, what's going on. Please utilize the chat screen. I think for you, it's over here. Or over here, I'm not sure, to let me know what kind of content you want to see, what you're interested in. If you have questions, we can do Q&As and stuff like that. So like I said before, we have Zoe and Flora, whose name on the screen is Paulina. The vice president is Zoe, and Flora is our activities officer. They've both been absolutely incredible this year, helping to put together events and take care of things on campus because I'm not on campus. So they run around and do like the fun errands when I can't get up there on time. So thank you both, and thank you for being there in the comments to moderate. If you have questions coming into the comments that I don't see, then Flora and Zoe, they have a couple links going. We have this PDF that's going to be ready for you to download after the live stream so that you guys can get the links and the ideas and stuff that we talk about. It'll be right there in a nice little document for you. And they might be posting some links as well. So we had some extra people come in. So let me just say really quick, if you're a current postgrad at Kent and you subscribe to this channel and give this video a thumbs up, you will be entered to win one of 5 free Deliveroos while you're in isolation, so you don't have to cook. I'll talk to the master of Wolf tomorrow and see if we can get more than 5 people those, because we're not running events right now. So we have a little bit of extra cash to give out to you guys. And I want to make sure that it's still going to you. So we'll make sure that that happens. So we'll dive into it because now we have quite a few people here, which is really exciting. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm excited to do this. I want to be sure that you all have sort of the tips and strategies that you need to be working from home, whether you're a postgrad or if you're my family or friends in the States who might be watching, hi. I want to make sure that you have strategies for working at home too, because my hometown of Oregon is one of the hardest hit places in the States right now, and a lot of people are working from home. And it's so easy when you're working from home to get caught in this sort of bored, intense lethargy kind of thing where you just don't really want to do anything because you have too much time. So I think one of the most important things, at least for me, one of the most important things in working from home is to stay really busy. Hi, Nathan. Nathan says, "Woo, I'm watching." Hi. So one of the most important things for me is to stay really busy. And I know that a lot of people say to me that like I do too much, and yeah, I probably put too much on my plate. But one of the reasons is that I have to keep that momentum going, because if I do sort of slip into this like sitting around and not doing anything thing, then I'll keep doing that. And it's so easy to get into, and it's really hard to get out of. So my number one tip for you when you're working from home or during this period in general is to stay really busy. And with that busyness, make sure that you have routines going, because the routine will keep the momentum of the business going. And then you're not going to fall into this place where all of a sudden you're like, I don't know what to do with this hour of my life. And so I'm going to go watch Netflix or start scrolling social media. And then we all know that that turns into like 24 hours of like lying on the couch, drinking wine and watching Netflix. And I might be speaking from personal experience, but we don't want you to do that. So stay busy and have routines going. So keep that in mind as we go through these tips, because they kind of all revolve around that. Okay, so like I said, because we have a couple other people logging in, there will be a PDF available for you to download. I'll link it probably in Facebook comments. I'll share this on the different Facebook pages. A downloadable PDF for you with the strategies that we talk about in this video, as well as links to online workouts, resources, online classes, some videos that might help you out with some other stuff, podcasts, lists of stuff to do so you're not just on your phone scrolling around. So be sure afterwards to download that. So I'm just going to start going through it because that's how I've structured this video is with the PDF in mind. So if you want to take notes, go ahead. If you're not a note person, just wait for the PDF. My friend Sam just logged in. She sent me a message. That's why I looked at my phone. She was like, I don't know how to log in. I'm not good at tech. So hi, Sam. I'm glad that you figured it out. And Flora says that San Francisco is really hard hit right now too. So for our family and friends who are there, we're thinking about you, and we hope that you're staying busy so that you don't fall into the anxiety and sort of the depression thing. So let's go ahead and start. I have my 7 best strategies to be productive while working from home. I've worked from home for a few years now. I took a year where I was working as a teacher. So that obviously that wasn't at home. That was a crazy busy schedule. But a couple years before that, and since then, I've been working at home. And it took me a really long time. I'm sure you're finding this for the people who are working at home for the first time to get used to that and to figure out how to do that effectively. So these are the things that have worked for me, with a couple notes from Zoe and Flora as well, strategies that they've had. So I hope they work for you. So the number one thing that you can do, and you can do this anytime, I do this whenever I feel overwhelmed, is to do a task download. So this is where you just get out a blank sheet of paper, make sure it's a sheet of paper. It doesn't work as well when it's on the computer. There's something about writing it by hand that really helps. So take out a blank sheet of paper and write down literally everything you can think of that you need to do. And they can be little things like cleaning the toilet, washing the dishes, to bigger things like urgent things like go withdraw money from a bank account just in case, or go pick up a tin of soup just in case I get hungry and I don't have anything else in the house. So literally everything you can think of. And this might be 1 page for some people, it might be 5 pages for other people. It's going to take a while, so dedicate a good amount of time to just sitting down and really get in that flow. What do I need to do? All the things you can think of. And then once you've done that and you have your 1 or 5 pages, I do it often enough that I've gotten to the point that it really is just like one little page now. But when I first started, it would get up to 5 pages. And then as I chipped away at stuff, I'm more productive now. So I get things done in a more timely manner. So once you're done with that, you're going to have to sort them. So the best way for me to sort them is I take just a yellow highlighter and I highlight the things that need to be done like today or urgently. And those are going to go on my today list. And then from there, sometimes what I'll do is if it's something that needs to be done this week, I'll write a little symbol next to it. I don't know if you can see there's like a little M there. That means I'm doing that on Monday, T, Tuesday, whatever your code is. And whatever works for you. So the pink things for me are the things that I will probably need to do sooner rather than later. And I just want to keep those in mind as I'm making my other lists, that those need to go first. So I have the stuff I need to do today. I have the stuff that needs to be done this week, and I've sort of sorted it by days. And then everything else that's not that urgent is just going to stay on your task download list. Maybe write another one so it's like a little bit cleaner. So that way you're going to have a couple different lists going. And once I'm done with that, I take it over and I have my daily ones. So this was Wednesday, Thursday. And then that way I have them organized. And in there too, the yellow highlighted ones, those are the things that like I have to do today. There's no excuse, they have to be done. And the other things are things that like I really should do today and I hope I get to today, but if I don't, it's not a big issue. So for those of you who aren't familiar with bullet journaling, which is essentially what this is, some people make these bullet journals that are like beautiful and they have like stickers and art, and I don't have time for that. So mine are just lists of things. I'm going to link one of the videos about how to do bullet journals in this PDF. So if you're curious about that, that has changed my life because it really gives me a chance to sit down and plan my day by what needs to be done. So that's your task download. Like I said, I do that whenever I feel overwhelmed. So, if I'm feeling like I'm not really sure what to do right now, just sit down and just think of all the things I need to do. And then I keep this open next to me because during the day, if I get to like a little lull and I'm not so sure what I need to do, that's open and glaring at me. And I look at it and I'm like, oh yeah, I have to do that thing. And so that's a way to keep you productive, and it keeps you from falling into starting to scroll social media or starting a Netflix show because you're like, oh yeah, I still have these other things I have to do. So that's number one. Number two is make a schedule. And I had, Meg was one of my friends, and I've had a couple others send me pictures. They're like, look, I made a daily schedule, like you said. And I hope that that's helping you make a routine. Flora's saying that she also has some references for a bullet journal, so we'll put that in the PDF as well. So your daily schedule, the way to start doing this is, again, to sit down with a blank piece of paper. I'm always for the blank piece of paper, and write what your ideal day would look like. So if there was nothing else that you had to do, if you didn't have a class that you needed to go to or a virtual class you needed to go to, if you didn't have any meetings, if you didn't have any scheduled events, what would your perfect day look like? And so write that down hour by hour or by half an hour, however you want to go. And I'm loving your comments. And get that ideal day going. So when I did that, and I think I may have put an example in my post about this, it was like, I get up really early because I do a lot of stuff. And I've realized for myself, when I get up early, I get more done during the day. And that comes back to another strategy I'll talk to you about later. So my day starts at 5, and then I sort of have my like, get ready to go, get ready to work morning routine that puts me in the groove to start doing some stuff. Essentially it's like a glamorized way of slowly waking up and like slowly introducing yourself to the day. And then I'll do, from 7 to 9, I'm doing some of my freelance work, and I take an hour to take Bilbo out to the field for a long walk. And so that's what my ideal day looks like. And I have it sort of in hour block chunks, a couple hours here and there. So once you have your ideal day written down, then you need to block your time. The best way to block your time, I've done this in an Excel sheet, just having squares that are colored that said, this is what I'm doing at this time, this is what I'm doing at this time. But my good friend Zoe, Zoe, who says that she can't relate because she gets up at 5 p.m., different strokes for different folks. Zoe was incredible because at the beginning of this year, I was like, I do all these things, I do too many things. I'm feeling sort of manic. I feel like it's all in my head and I don't know how to really get organized. And Zoe was like, all right, I'm taking over. I'm going to make you a calendar. She became my executive assistant. I called her for a while. And she made me a Google Calendar, which has changed my life Thank you, Zoe. Thank you so much. In your Google Calendar, you can block your time, and I put pictures of this as well in the original Facebook post that I did. You can block your time to look. You can get your day the way you want it to go. You can color code it. I'll have 3 hours of freelance time here, 4 hours of PhD time here, and then in the notes of that appointment that I've set for myself to do something during that time, I'll write what I want to accomplish. So if this is PhD time, I'm saying I want to read this article and I want to write 500 words about it. I want to write 1,000 words about this. And that way I have an idea already of the way that that time is going to be structured. So it's just sort of this layering effect of getting all of my things done and all of my things planned. So that's really helpful. And one of the great things about Google Calendar is that you can set it up to give you reminders every 30 minutes or 10 minutes. So if it's 10 minutes until I need to shift gears into my PhD writing time, I'll get an alert. I have it hooked up to my watch. My watch will vibrate and it'll tell me what I need to start getting ready to do. And I think that this is really helpful and that this is just my own sort of little psychological thing. I think this works because we're so conditioned growing up and going to school to switch gears all the time. You go from chemistry class to English class to this class. So we're already sort of hardwired in this way to have these blocks of time for different things. So I think it in a way it sort of reverts our brains back to the way that we've been conditioned to toggle from task to task. So my recommendation there is to go in 2-hour chunks. Just for me, for my own attention span, that's how long I'm good at sort of like sticking to things. So that's the schedule. So number 2A of my 7 best strategies is combining that to-do list and that schedule and getting them ready the night before. And the reason that this is really helpful is because then when you go to bed, you've already planned your day for tomorrow. I've already blocked what my day looks like. I've already put in my to-do items. I've already made my list here, and I've already highlighted what needs to get done that day. So I can go to bed knowing, okay, it's all out of my head. I can relax a little bit. And then the best part about it is that when you wake up in the morning, you don't have that lull of time that's like, what should I do today? Like I have a million things to do, but like I don't know where to start. It lets you know that you have a schedule and you have these plans. And so you're already starting that momentum from the night before. You've set yourself up for success, basically. Okay, so number 3, this is something that's kind of new to me, but again, has been life-changing. This is making checklists for like everything. And I watched a couple of videos and people have researched this about why this works so well. So for example, like if there's a pilot of an airplane, they have checklists for everything they need to do. So if it's time to land, they're going through that checklist of like all the procedures they need to do to land that plane. Same with surgeons. They piloted a research study about this several years ago, that when they brought checklists into hospitals, even for like the minute details of that operation, the success rates were better because they were following all their little steps. So to translate that into your life, so if you're a postgrad, I have checklists for before I submit any piece of writing to my supervisor. So when I'm done writing, I have my word count or whatever, if I've written 10,000 words, 15,000 words, whatever, then I start my checklist. So number 1 on the checklist is convert that. I use Scrivener to write, convert that to a Word doc. Number 2, put in my header. Number 3, put in my page numbers. Number 4, go through all my footnotes and make sure that they're structured properly. And this way, and as Zoe said, you get the satisfaction of crossing those things on your list, which, I mean, for somebody like me, it's that I'm like, yeah, I'm doing things, I'm accomplishing stuff, even if they're those little things, because every big project, and if submitting something to your supervisor is a big project, it's always going to have those little pieces. So if you have the checklist and you're checking things off as you go, you're not going to forget anything. And that's going to be a polished piece when you go to send that in. I also have checklists for, okay, if I'm traveling, these are the basic things that I need to be sure that I pack every single time. So those are on my checklist. And then if it's a different kind of trip, then I'll add some stuff to the checklist so that I know, all right, I've done everything. When I leave the house, have I locked the door? Have I turned off the heat? Have I, those kind of things. If you implement those in your life will change. Like you'll be so productive. What did Meg say? She starts her list with wake up. Yeah, because you can cross it off. How many of you are guilty of writing a list and putting things on the list that you've already done? Just you can feel successful by crossing something, because I do that all the time. Like if I do something that I didn't plan for the day, like say that I washed the dishes, And then I come and I sit down at my desk and I'm like, what did I do with the last 20 minutes of my life? And then I'll put it on my list and I'll check it off because then I did a thing that was on my list. So, and if that helps you, that helps me feel accomplished and it keeps my momentum going. So do what you need to do. So that was checklists. And then one of the place where I do my checklist is in the Microsoft To-Do List app, which will also be on the PDF that I'll link after the video. That's helpful because then it's always there. You don't have to rewrite them every single time. It's just there for you to look at. Or I don't know if you can see in the background on my whiteboard, that's already, it's Sunday right now. That's already my Monday list. So it's my to-do list, but in my other whiteboard behind me, I have my checklist for the day. So I have every day, these are the things that I do, checklist in the morning, and I can check them off as I go. So that's checklist. So that was number 3. Number 4, excuse me, and I talked about this a little bit with my schedule for the day. Number 4 is to have a get to work routine. For me, this is just a way of saying that's my morning routine because I work in the morning. And that is getting your mind shifted into the place where you're ready to work. And it's basically creating a ritual because there's the whole like Pavlovian thing of we condition ourselves to do certain things at certain times. I don't know if any of you have ever worked in an office, that there's this sort of phenomenon in offices where at a certain time of the day, workers tend to do certain things just because they've built the habit of that. I worked in an office for a while. I had a different job, but my boss at the time had somebody go on maternity leave and brought me in to do their sort of digital content for a little while she was on maternity leave. So I sort of switched jobs for a second. And I started to notice that every day about 2:00, I was like, I want a cookie. And I thought about it and I was like, why does this happen every day at 2:00? And the reason was that I had sort of the schedule of things I needed to do. And a couple of days I got to a certain part of the schedule at 2:00. And there were birthday parties or something where people brought in sweets and then my brain just sort of like got into this place that was like at 2:00, when you get to this part of the schedule, you have a cookie. So that's why this routine thing is so powerful. They're habits. Everybody talks about the power of habits. So to get into your get to work routine, it's just this sort of ritual of things that you do to prepare yourself to start working. So for me, I get up, I brush my teeth, I let the dog out, I feed the dog, I make coffee, I sit down, I do this thing called morning pages. I don't know if anyone's familiar with that. It's from this book called The Artist's Way. It's basically journaling. You sit down, you write 3 pages of just everything that's in your head, and it just clears my head for the day. So that's one of the things I do. Then I go through my to-do list. And then as I'm drinking coffee, I'm sort of wandering YouTube for a little bit and, checking socials and stuff like that. And then I get to a point in the middle of sort of that wandering on the internet that my brain switches into work gear because that's what I've trained myself to do. So that makes my mornings nice and leisurely and I start work at the right time. So do what works for you. So my routine might not work for you. You might work better in the evening than in the morning. So just make sure that you have a routine ready for that. And part of that routine that I think is really important is that you dress in a particular way when you're working. And what I mean by, I'm not one of those people who thinks that you need to wear business clothes at home to be productive. I wear sports clothes when I'm at home, just because that's what makes me feel productive. I realized several years ago that if I put on my running shoes or sneakers of any kind, I'm in more of a headspace to start doing chores. I don't know why. So when I want to do chores, I put on my sneakers. But for me, getting into my work routine usually means that I put on my sport clothes. I usually put on like a baseball hat or like put my hair up. If I have meetings or like online things that day, I'll make sure that my makeup's on. And that's just sort of the clue that like, it's time. This is the way that I look when I work. So when I dress this way, my brain thinks it's time to work. So that's what, and actually my neighbor said, she came over to get my dog the other day and I had, I had done my hair and I had like makeup on and stuff and I had my lipstick on and she was like, oh, sorry, are you busy right now? Because that's how you look when you're working. And I was like, yeah, that is how I look when I'm working. So it's a good way to get into the habit. Sam asks, do daytime pajamas count? Daytime pajamas are fine as long as they're not what you slept in. I think it's really, really important that your brain knows that when you're sleeping, this is what you wear. And when you're doing something else, this is what you wear. Because I think if you stay in your pajamas, your brain still stays in like comfy sleeping mode. So yeah, have like daytime pajamas that are like your work pajamas. If that works for you, that's totally fine. Krisha says they do count. Yeah, yeah, they're your work clothes. That's good. That's fine. So that's all part of your routine, and that helps to keep your momentum going as well. Number 5, this one is crucial because you don't want to slip into that place, like I said before, where all of a sudden you start watching Netflix, you start going through socials, and then your brain shuts down. And then you're like, well, I guess this is what I'm doing today. And then that's what you do all day. So it's crucial to keep your momentum going. I know I've said that like a million times, but I think it's really important. And one of the ways that I keep my momentum going throughout the day is that I take frequent breaks, which I know that that was one of Zoe's things is to take very frequent breaks. But my breaks are always productive. And what I mean by that is they're like little tasks that don't take brain power. So like washing the dishes, changing the sheets on my bed, cleaning the bathroom, vacuuming the house, little things that were on my to-do list, but don't take my brain to be turned on to do them, basically. So when I come back to my desk and I sit down, I'm still in working mode. I'm still in productive mode, but I've done some other things that have contributed to my life. And we have a list of sort of productive break time activities that you can do on this PDF. Yeah, so just don't fall into the slump. The slump is the worst. I already went through number 6 was dress the way that makes you feel productive. So I sort of put that into the other one. And number 7, and this I know a lot of people have been doing this week, which is really important, is to have a designated workspace that is literally just for work. And try as hard as you can. I know that some people aren't in situations where they can do this, but try as hard as you can to have that be a space that you don't take apart every night and then put back together every morning. So like if you're using the kitchen table in your house and you need that table to serve dinner to your kids or whatever, that might be harder for you. But for those of you who have the ability, if you have like a little corner of your house and a little table, that's your workspace. And that just tells your brain when you sit down, this is my workspace. So I made a rule with myself because I got into this habit when I first started doing my PhD of I was sitting at my computer and I would start watching Netflix in the morning. I would like have my coffee and watch Netflix. And then I started to realize there were so many days that I like didn't get around to what I needed to do because I got sucked into a Netflix show. So I had to make this deal with myself that was like, your desk is not the place to watch Netflix. If you want to watch a show, if you want to, if you want to watch Amazon Prime or YouTube or whatever, except for my little motivational videos in the morning, if you want to have that relaxing time, you do it away from your desk. So whether that's like going to the other room and watching on my TV or taking my iPad, sometimes I'll lie in my bed and watch something on the iPad. That's the place to do that, but not at your desk. Your workspace is your workplace. And Zoe's pro tip here was to try to have some audio going in the background. So she suggested like cafe sounds. I like to do like beach noises because I like to hear the little seagulls. I don't know why. And so it's like waves and seagulls and stuff like that. And it just helps you feel not as isolated. It helps you feel like you're not just sitting in your house in your little corner working. And YouTube is great for that. If you just search on YouTube this kind of noise, cafe noises, busy street noises, whatever, you can get like 5-8 hour clips of that you can just run in the background. Just so you feel like you're not as isolated, you're a little bit more connected to the world. So those are my best tips. Did anybody say anything in the comments that is good? I like the pajama ones. Flora says house clothes are absolutely valid. Megan says that she likes her current soundtrack on Spotify is old Eurovision playlists. Eurovision got canceled this year, didn't it? So sad. I had my first Eurovision experience a couple years ago at my friend's house, and it was wild. Like I've never been so committed and so like enthralled with something, except maybe British Bake Off, because the Great British Bake Off to me is like the most relaxing yet anxiety-inducing thing I've ever watched in my life. It's like this weird juxtaposition of feelings that I don't quite understand. Sam says, any tips on working in the same space as others who aren't? So like others who aren't working, like you're trying to work and they're not working. probably head just like plug it in. I mean, I have a habit, and my friends can attest to this. I have a habit of being like, I'm going to ignore you for 10 minutes. Sorry, but like I really need to finish this. And everyone's really understanding of that, which I think is great. Like if I take the train up to London or something with friends, it's about a 40-minute, 45-minute train ride. I'll be like, I would love to socialize with you right now, but like I need to do this, so I'm going to ignore you for 20 minutes. And they're like, okay, that's fine. So yeah, I would say just tell the people in your workspace, like I'm zoning you out. Maybe have some like noise canceling headphones. And I'm just going to like be rude and ignore you for a while, but it's because I need to do this and then I'll hang out. So that might work for you because that works for me. Neil says headphones or talk to the people around you and just ask them to be mindful while you're working. Yeah, I feel like most people are really understanding. Like if you just say it how it is, for the most part, people are like, all right, you do what you need to do, and I'll, you know, I mean, you can just kind of sugarcoat it in a little bit and be like, I love you, but like, I need to do this. Yeah, they're usually pretty good about it. Okay, anything else before I move on to the next thing? We're already 30 minutes into this. Jeez. Okay, so I'll like rattle off my quick list of productive stuff that you can do instead of binging Netflix or scrolling your socials. Number one, set up your systems. Set up your bullet journal, your Google Calendar, block your schedule, write that task list of like your task download things that you need to do. Any of the little things that set up the systems that you need in your house that sort of like get your life together. That's the number one thing that you can do when you are wanting to be productive but not get sucked into watching something. Number two, go through the archive of your emails. Okay, I put this on the list because I did it this morning. I looked at my Gmail inbox, like my main personal one, and there were like 3,000 emails. They were all opened, like they'd all been read. They dated back to like 2013, because I hate having unread messages. But I looked at it and I was like, I don't need any of these emails in my inbox. Like if I look back past one page, I don't even know what those emails are about. And with Gmail, when you archive stuff, if you go in the search bar to search for something, it still comes up. So if I need to find something, it doesn't matter if it's in my inbox or my archive. So this morning, I spent a good 10 minutes just clicking the archive button, just select all archive, select all archive, and it went by 50 email chunks. But now my email inbox is empty, and it's a beautiful feeling. So that's an idea of something that you can do instead of getting sucked into a show. Number three, and this is on my list because I want to do this in the next couple weeks, is to edit your phone's camera roll. So again, on my phone, I think it's like 5,000 pictures in the camera roll of my phone. And I have the like iCloud thing where like most of them aren't actually on the memory of my phone. They're in the cloud. So if I need them, I click on them and it downloads. But still, I don't need 5,000 pictures. So one of the things I'm going to do during this isolation period is to maybe put on a Netflix show, so there's something in the background, but to just sit there on my phone and like just delete all the pictures that I don't need. So that's an idea. Number four, make your bed. I mean, a lot of people say that if you make your bed first thing in the morning, you have a more productive day. But that's something that you can do. There's something about having a bed that's made that makes you feel like you have your life together. So that's an idea of something that you can do. Number five, clean different areas of your home. So I sort of have this project going on right now where I'm decluttering different parts of my house. So I started with this back corner right here because it was an absolute mess. And one day I took, 30 minutes or whatever, and I did that corner. And then maybe another day when I need something to do, I'll tackle that corner or that room or whatever. So that's an idea of something that you can do. Number six, go through and purge all of the loose papers that you can find. So this, I mean, especially for postgrads, like how many articles do you have lying around? How many pages of notes and like random things? And they pile up, and then you don't get rid of them because you think like, oh, I don't have time to look at that piece of paper right now, but I might need it someday. So I'm just going to leave it. Take an hour of your life or whatever and just collect all the papers you find in your house, go through them, and you will be amazed at how many of them you can just throw away. And then the rest you can just sort to where they need to go. And that will make you feel so much better. Another option is an online workout. So I know that Flora, and this is going to be in the PDF, Flora is doing some online workouts. I mean, there are also tons available for free on YouTube. If there's a certain kind of work, if you want to do yoga, if you want to do like Pilates or whatever, just put it in the YouTube search bar and it'll pop up and you can do free workouts. I know there's some on Instagram. I think there's some on TikTok. I'm kind of new to TikTok, but I think they're there. Another idea is to organize all of your digital files. So on your computer, again, how many files do you have that you do not need? Like there's this like ongoing joke of researchers that like you have so many different drafts of one article or one chapter, and they all have different numbers. It's like final one. Just go through and get rid of it, especially your downloads folder. Everybody's downloads folder is just a mess. Learn to cook. I've been doing a lot of cooking lately. For me, it's like one of those things that doesn't take a lot of brain power, but makes me feel like I got something done. There are also studies that show that those sort of like weird tactile tasks help you to process information, because you engage a different part of your brain, and the part of your brain that's processing the information that you just read or you were just writing about or just researching, it sort of just like percolates in the back there. And processes it all. So when you sit down to do it again, it's all processed. So that's something that you can do, those little menial tasks. I want to do this. Number 10 on my list is to try something out like Skillshare, which is a website, sort of like online creatives go and they teach people their skills. So you could learn a new skill, whether it's like video editing or painting or copywriting. And then you feel like you've learned something or done something. Sam says yoga with Adriene is good for a free online workout. So that's an idea. Let's see, what else can we do? Journal. So like I said, my morning pages where I just like write down everything that's in my brain. Journaling is amazing. It helps me process so many weird thoughts in my head. And I think that once I started journaling a few years ago, I really changed as a person because I started to notice some of the patterns that I was in. And it really, once you're aware of it, you can change it. So that's an idea. Go for a walk without tech. This is one of my favorite things. And I do this usually when I take Bilbo out. I'll take my phone in case there's an emergency, of course, but I don't let myself go on the phone. And I just enjoy that time hanging out with Bilbo, or if I'm by myself, and just really clear the brain. And then because of the time period that we're in and you can't see people, a good idea that I've seen people do is to plan like a virtual happy hour. So whether using Zoom or Skype or whatever, everybody has a drink. I actually have, this is our virtual happy hour. Have a drink and like hang out with your friends that way. And it gives you some social interaction. And then number 14, the last thing on my list, is to start a project that you've always wanted to start. And I think that this is so important right now because we're all being forced into this different way of living our lives where all of a sudden we have this extra time that we would be spending going out, commuting, sitting in meetings that we don't really need. There's just all these extra minutes and hours in your day, and it's the perfect time. And if you utilize it, you can start some projects that you've always wanted to do, whether that's starting a blog, YouTube, which is one of the things that like I've always kind of wanted to do. So I set this up for that. If you want to write a book, if you like any of those things that you've always wanted to do, I encourage you, I implore you during this time to just do them. And I think that you'll come out at the end of this feeling like you really used it to your advantage. So that's, I mean, we're coming up on 40 minutes. I only wanted this to be about 40 or 45 minutes. So if you're a current postgrad, I'll say one more time because we have a lot more people on right now. If you're a current postgrad, if you subscribe to this channel and give this video a thumbs up, we will select 5 of you to get a free Deliveroo meal, at least 5. I'll talk to the college master tomorrow and see if we can get more than that, but at least 5 people will send you a free Deliveroo. We'll let you choose what it is, of course, but that'll help you out with the food situation in this moment, this weird time. Anything else before I wrap this up? A Netflix party, that's one of the things that I'm going to say at the end here. A Christmas Prince series marathon. I don't even want to know what that is, Meg. That sounds terrible. What was that one movie? I don't know if Anna's on this right now, but we watched, I know, Meg, you watched it with Anna at one point. What it was called, something, The Night Before Christmas. It's the worst movie I've ever seen in my life. Like, it was so entertaining, but it was so bad. But partially because that's one of the time periods that I study. Flora says, Shelly, you take that back. No, it was so bad. And I think it's because like that's the time period I study, and it was like so inaccurate. It was really hard for me to like suspend my disbelief to watch that. Anyway, so if there are any movies or TV shows that you think that people, I mean, you do need relaxing time. You do need break time. I think one of the reasons that I tend to get done is because I really prioritize my rest time. Like when I'm on, and I get my stuff done. I've always said that I sort of work in sprints. and I work in sprints, so I have like really focused time, and I get all the things done. And then when I relax, I relax. It's done. So during your relaxed time, are there any things on Netflix or Amazon Prime that you would suggest people should watch? Megan says it's the best movie ever because it represents her home city of Norwich. No, no, it's so bad. So bad. The Good Place. Yes, Zoe, I love The Good Place. The Good Place is so funny. And not enough people watch it because I quote it all the time. And people look at me like, what? And I'm just, people need to watch that show because it's hilarious. Sam says, I can't believe you watched The Night Before Christmas without me. Sorry. I almost invited you over. No, you can't come over, but we can do a Netflix party if you want, which leads me into the events that we have coming up post-grad. So if you're not a post-grad, this doesn't really apply to you. But if you are, we want to make sure that you're still being social and that you're still getting some interaction. So if you're not doing the virtual happy hours with your friends, if you're not making an extra effort to call people during the day and you're feeling kind of isolated, we have a couple things coming up. The end of term is the 3rd of April, which is 2 weeks from now. So at 9 o'clock every morning, I will be on here on YouTube, just doing a little 10-minute video, and I'll have a topic for each one. So they'll be informative. Like there will be value content in it. Love is Blind. Megan, I love Love is Blind. If you haven't watched Love is Blind, it's wild. Like it's just do it. Just do it, and then do what Anna and Meg do when they watch it, is live message me the whole time, because I like to hear people's reactions to the craziness of that show. And it, like one time, I go to bed really early because I wake up really early. So one morning I woke up and my friend had messaged me, she had live messaged me her reaction to about 3 hours of the show. It was the best morning of my life because I got to wake up reading that and it made me so happy. So yes, Love is Blind. Okay, upcoming virtual events, 9 o'clock every weekday morning for the rest of this term. I will be on here for 10 minutes. If you have questions, we can catch up. I'll have a topic going for the video and stuff. And then on the 4th of May, we're back to term. So hopefully we're not dealing with this by the 4th of May, which is Star Wars Day, of course. But if we are, then I'll sort of rearrange that. But I will continue every Sunday to either upload a video or do a live stream for you. Let me know in the comments of this video what topics you would like to discuss, like what you want more information about. I know that we've been dealing with a lot of accommodation issues and stuff in the postgrad group. So if that's something that maybe in the TikToks you want more information about, I'm on TikTok now as Shelly the Postgrad, which is the same as this YouTube channel. And I do multiple 60-second videos there every day to update you on the information that we're getting. And sometimes that's stuff that the dean of the grad school wants me to tell you guys, things like that. So that'll if you were on TikTok, I'm not going to continue posting those on Facebook. So you need to get on TikTok and follow me so that you get those updates all day. And some of those updates will be the accommodation stuff because I know people are worried about that. So yes, in the comments, tell me what topics you would like me to cover, what you'd like to talk about, if you have any questions. And then on Wednesday, this coming Wednesday, which should be I think it's the 24th. Is that right? Flora and Zoe. Zoe put my TikTok handle there. Flora, you're sending me messages, but I'm not quite reading them. So it's this coming Wednesday, which should be the 24th or the 25th. We're going to do a post-grad Netflix party. So we'll get the invitation for that up for you. You can RSVP. All you need to do is get a little Google Chrome extension. And basically what it is like we'll put on a Netflix movie that we can all watch in our own houses. And we watch it together. So like if we have to pause it for something, it pauses for everybody. And then there's like a chat box in the corner so we can like communicate while we're watching. So it's a good little way to like have a bit like watch a movie together without actually being together. So look for that on Wednesday. And if that works out well on Wednesday, we will continue to do that because I think that would be really fun. It's the 25th is Wednesday. Thank you, Krisha and Zoe. Anything else that you guys, I wanted to keep this to 45 minutes. So I have another minute or so left. Before we head out, again, for the numbers that kind of keep going up of who's watching. So if you've just logged in, if you are a current postgrad, subscribe to the channel and give this video a thumbs up, and we will pick 5 of you to give free Deliveroo to. If you're not a postgrad, it would also be really nice if you subscribe to this channel, because once we get to 100 subscribes, then I get to make a custom URL, and I'm like really excited about that. And that would be really helpful. And if you know anybody who would benefit from the productivity motivation, working from home stuff, send them to this channel too, and then we can get those numbers up, because that's where we're going. Zoe, can we see Bilbo? No, I took Bilbo to the neighbor's house because he's been a little stir crazy today, because I've been super busy today. I haven't been able to take him out. So he's over there snuggling with them. They probably taken him for a long walk. They're amazing. They like to hang out with him, and he likes to hang out with them. So that's where he is. Sorry, Zoe. Maybe in some of the TikToks I'll show him, or maybe he'll be in the next little broadcast. Yeah, so that's about it from me. If you guys don't have any more questions, and I know that I've been talking about the student award nominations. So that's something that tends to be dominated by undergrads, because it's just the way the cookie crumbles. Like, undergrads tend to get all the attention. So I really want to get some postgrads in there this year. And I think you might still be able to nominate people today. If you can still nominate today, it closes at midnight. I think you might be able to start nominating some postgrads. We need some representation in there, because the undergrads get everything. It's undergrads. Yeah, so do that. And Krisha just reminded me of that. So if you don't have any more questions, I'm so glad that you came here to hang out with me. I'll be back at 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. And be sure to check out the PDF that I'm going to link in the comments of the video. I'll probably do it on a Google Drive or something. And you can print that out. It has the ways to keep in touch with us, the link to this YouTube channel, my TikTok, Twitter, our Instagrams, and links to our Facebook pages and our groups and stuff like that. Megan says that the nominations close on the 22nd, which is today. So you still have time. Nominate some postgrads. Get them out there. Let's get represented. Anyway, so that's it for me. Again, thank you so much for watching this. And I hope you subscribe and give it a thumbs up. And be well, be safe, wash your hands, and stay inside, because let's flatten that curve. All right, see ya.